Hello and welcome everyone to our community cohort number 2 info session. My name is Paz Pazarski and I am one of the co-founders of the Community Collective. And today I'm tuning in from Torquay. We've got people here from all over the country in Sydney, Melbourne, a place that I'm not sure how to pronounce. And, I would like to kick off by actually acknowledging the traditional lands of where I'm tuning in from, the Wadawurrung people, and also the lands from where you're tuning in from today, and acknowledge them as the traditional owners of the land in which we all gather today. And really the purpose of today is to unpack more about our second community cohort program and really understand how to apply, what's involved, all the details that you might be curious about. And also hear from a cohort number 1 alumnus, Andy, who's tuning in from Melbourne today, and I'll also be able to ask any questions. So you can ask questions about the program itself, about Andy's experience, and we'll go through those as well afterwards. So before I dive in, just a quick check of, is this anyone's first time using Butter? Feel free to just post a yes in the chat if this is your first time in the buttery land of goodness. Butter is a virtual tech tool that is and it is for interactive live sessions. It's actually a tool of one of our members, Anna Maria. She's the head of community at Butter, and they created Butter in 2020, and they're from Scandinavia. So just to show you around, we've got a few new people here. You'll find all your normal controls on the left, and then some extra fun reactions. And Butter's also got some sound boards, which is a great feature to adding a little bit of personality to your events. So you'll be mainly just listening and watching today, but now you understand actually how this works. So as I mentioned, we'll kick off and then dive straight into the cohort. But we're going to start today with a check-in. So a check-in is a way to actually understand who's in the room here today and who are we actually all speaking to and connecting with. So I'm going to launch our first check-in question, which is simply, what is your current or most recent role at the company? They're all anonymous, but feel free to just type in your role, and so we can just see who is here joining live with us today. And so you can type into the chat function on the left in the actual poll itself, and then all your answers will come up as well. Okay, so we've got some community and events managers here, a senior programmer, hey Kenny from Start Space. We've got a program manager for future founders as well, angel network managers. We've got customer success, social impact manager. Okay, we've got a pretty good cross-section of quite people-facing roles, whether it's customers, programs, partnerships, or angels. Okay, awesome. And the last question, which we'll ask, is what kind of professional skills are you looking to achieve this year? So I will share with you this second one, and you can type in, any kind of skill that you're really looking to improve this year. So is this a skill related to public speaking? Perhaps you're looking to improve your skills on community building. You're in the right place for that. Or events. Perhaps it's automations and operations, and you really want to upskill in actually making your work and life more efficient and productive. And you can also upvote any key skills. Okay, so the results are coming in. Community building is heavily front and center, so you're definitely in the right room for that. Community building skills, leadership, negotiation, that's a really strong one as well. And we've got engagement here. Okay, great. This is a great snapshot and read of the room. So overall, it looks like we've got a snapshot of different roles from the startup space, majority in Australia, and people are really keen to upskill in community leadership and engagement. So that's really good to know, and we can definitely actually help you improve some of these skills. And some of the skills that we actually look at in the cohort relate directly to these areas. So thank you for sharing all of that. I'll now kind of dive into the cohort itself, as I know that some people have never even been through one of our cohorts and programs. And as well, I want to give a background as to a little bit about us and the Community Collective as a community as well. So how did the Community Collective start? Where the hell did we come from? So we actually began as a meetup group with 17 community builders in between the 4th and 5th Melbourne lockdowns in June 2021. We noticed that there are a lot of community building roles that have felt a lot of pressure from the pandemic, who were supporting startup communities whose businesses were also facing challenges. So we wanted to create a space where we could actually support and connect with one another and actually help each other with our own roles. This is actually a photo from our meetup where we caught up in Cremorne at the Commons, and 1.5 years on, we are actually Australia's largest community for community builders in the startup space. And we now have members across 5 continents, including people from Africa, Poland, Amsterdam, and England, which is incredible. So really our mission is to support community builders to build stronger communities and actually create a space where they belong. Building a community can be really challenging and actually quite a energetically draining, but also rewarding experience. So how can we actually give you the tools, templates, skills, confidence, and connections to make your role more enjoyable, but actually help you build a stronger community of members? Because when you support the community manager, you're actually supporting all of the members in their community as a byproduct, which is a really, really powerful and far-reaching effect. So our members are predominantly from the startup space, but we also have people from not-for-profits, big tech companies, government, universities, social enterprises, and you can see some of the logos and the companies of where our members are from as well. A bit about me. So how did I end up here? So I've spent about the past 5 years across the community and the startup space. I've helped build and scale over 6 different communities, whether it be helping RMAT activators, entrepreneurship department, and startup community grow from 500 to 5,000 members. I helped launch an online membership with them and actually ran 10 Launch Hub Accelerator programs. We did 3 a year, which was something in itself. And I also have had experience managing in-person co-working space communities at Happy Spaces in Torquay. And also I was the community manager at Startup Victoria, which is Australia's largest startup community. And there's over 60,000 members there. So I really joined Startup Vic to oversee their memberships and their online delivery, but then also host over 100 events, whether it be small meetups for 4 to 5 founders or 2,000 person pitch nights and startup success series masterclasses as well. I've also started 2 businesses of my own. So I have that founder experience. I'm really passionate about helping people start their own businesses, but along the way I learned a few things myself. And one of the businesses is a music business. So I compose relaxation music for meditation and film. So if you need any concentration music while you work, I've got you covered. And along the way of managing communities in the startup space, really where the Community Collective was born. So in the middle of last year, I quit my full-time job to go all in into the Community Collective and actually run this as a business. So here we are today, only about 7 months into fully being a registered business and community. And we are now, in our 2nd cohort, and we currently have 480 members in our free meetup community, which has predominantly grown through word of mouth. So that's a bit of context as to why I am here. And now I'd love to give you a bit more context on the cohort and actually where it came from. So the cohort itself is an 8-week online program where community builders around the world connect and level up together. This is literally the place to upskill and gain confidence and get access to a lot of tools and templates and resources. But most of all, actually make long-lasting connections that you need to build strong communities. The actual finicky details of cohort number 2 is all about really kicking off from the 27th of March, and it runs for 8 weeks until the 19th of May. There's a 8-week cohort, but when you sign on to the 8-week cohort, you then get 3 months extended access to stay on in our portal, our Slack, and community. We also offer the program to be 100% online for that accessibility and reach. And we host all of our live sessions on Butter, which is where you are now. And the time commitment is roughly 2 hours per week with one live 75-minute session per week, and then any extra time for you to commit to really leveraging the resources and benefits of the program. The program itself, you will gain value from it based on what you really put into it. It's definitely not a new phenomenon, but one that is very important to note. And why did we even create a cohort? Why not have a monthly membership, for example? Why actually have a time-bound experience to go through something like this? Well, we did some research and spoke to over 180 members of the Community Collective about what challenges they were facing, what skills they were looking to improve, and the best environment for them to learn and stay accountable. And we found that actually when people have deadlines, a group of people who are going through a shared experience and really have a clear schedule in a time-bound environment, actually supported people to have better outcomes of getting work done, showing up, because they knew there was a start and an end time. So we wanted to actually create a space where you could join 30 to 40 to 50 other community builders, go through an experience, but then still have that ongoing access to really consolidate and really refine your learning and still ask questions in the process. So we really are about impact created together. So is the cohort for you? If you are building a community or you manage a group of people, perhaps you're growing a membership, maybe it's online, perhaps you manage a co-working space in person, or you coordinate time-bound programs as well. Perhaps you're re-engaging alumni who 5, 10, 6 programs along, we haven't actually said anything to them and we're wondering how do we actually re-involve them. Or perhaps you're building a business and community is really the way that you want to prove out your MVP and really build a loyal following and audience. We've found that community building is actually one of the most successful strategies for new businesses and existing businesses for really having that extended, long-lasting, engaged customer retention that so many people strive for. To give you an idea of some of the people that went through cohort number 1, we had a really big cross-section of the different types of organizations. All of these logos here from our alumni. And really we found people joining from those startup support organizations, so people helping founders, but also from not-for-profits, accelerators, startup festivals, actually founders themselves building new businesses, as well as universities and actual small community support groups. So this really is a program for those who are actively doing the work. You are actually in a role that involves aspects of community building. Perhaps your title isn't community manager, which is totally fine. We are really open to accepting applications for anyone and providing feedback in that sense. So if you're slightly unsure, just apply anyway, and we read every application in that way and can reach out as well with more clarification. And yes, I'll share a recording of today's session. Okay, so the really core 6 key areas that we want to help you in, that we've identified as some of the 6 key assets of community building and being really equipped for this type of work, is really helping you build a strategy, actually having a plan with metrics, KPIs, it really has clear objectives and a pathway for you to actually achieve what you think success is. without the strategy, it's so hard to actually know what your direction is. It's hard to rally the team around it. It's hard to communicate the value and to actually calculate the impact of your efforts and that the community is having on members as well. We help you establish efficient operations and actually enhance your productivity, because if you are a better operator, you are more efficient and more effective, you have more energy, you're utilizing time better, you can actually make decisions without that confusion. So we've found that a lot of people who manage community are really time poor. There's a lot of different elements on the go. We're like organizing in-person events and the catering, but then also onboarding new members and reading applications. So making sure that you are really efficient and doing your due diligence of where your time is spent is such a core skill for doing your role and also enjoying it. Public speaking, it is one of the most common fears out there. It's also one of the most common situations that community people get put into, because we tend to be either the face of a brand, or if we're not the face, we usually welcome new people in. So there's really elements of communication, moderation, and facilitation. So we have an entire week actually dedicated to public speaking and facilitation, plus with in-person workshops in Melbourne if you're based there as well. And we also help you grow your network. It's really important to actually connect with people who are on a similar journey and at a similar stage to you. We want to connect you with people who are actively doing this work, either in similar industries or similar stages. But then we want to connect with you with people who are 5, 10, 20 years ahead and that have mastered this element. Perhaps not mastered, you're always learning, but have really, really honed their skills in these areas and can really share the learnings and challenges. So that's where we bring in the speakers and coaches. And the number one thing that we've found actually the cohort helping people with is confidence. Actually having confidence in your work and your skills and the direction that you're having can be really, really impactful in not only you and your mind and how you show up, but also for everyone around you. You have gravitas, you become this thought leader, and you're really actually known for community building. And now you are the go-to person for questions and comments in those areas. And to give you a bit of an insight into these skills, we actually record this. So before the community cohort number 1 started last year, we asked every single person to rate their confidence or skill level in these 4 areas, which is in the brown, which is pre-cohort. And then after the program ended, we asked everyone the exact same 4 questions to now rate their skill levels and confidence levels in these 4 areas. And the results are mind-blowing. Like overall, there was a huge increase across all 4 areas, the biggest being the professional connections. We literally welcome you into a space where you can access 30 to 50 other people doing this work and actually stay connected with them long term. Okay, so how do we even help you do those skills? Well, we've crafted specific elements in the program to give you access and the opportunity to actually work on these skills in different ways. So we have 10 key elements in the program. The first one being a kickoff call, induction, onboarding, so important. We really set expectations and really ensure that you connect with people before we even dive into the content itself. And then we have weekly cohort workshops every Tuesday morning Melbourne time that are 75-minute sessions that literally dive into a specific area and give you time to actually do the work. We'll have 2 bonus live sessions, one being a pure connection networking element and the other one being a Q&A with David Spinks, who is a predominant community builder based in New York at the moment. You'll join our Slack community for the 5 months, and you'll be able to ask us questions anytime between Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. across any type of different topic, or share resources and connect one-on-one with people and actually share any kind of content or wins that you might have as well. We'll have a cohort portal, which will be your one-stop shop for accessing everything. And there you'll find a content library where we've curated over 100 resources and tech tools and platforms in the community space with actually exactly where every company and tech tool is based from, so you know where the data is hosted as well. We'll match you with 1 or 2 other people in your cohort to then check in weekly on your goals. And this is a really good point to actually build those connections, but then actually really build a relationship with someone else who's doing this work. They can be your go-to person for ensuring that you're staying accountable, but then also debrief on what you're learning throughout the program. Why the hell do we have music playlists in there? So we believe that music can actually enhance our concentration. So if you use it strategically and play the right music at the right hertz, you can actually go into a more concentrated state. I'm quite biased as I'm a musician myself. I write relaxation music for a living. So we've curated over 16 different playlists for you to listen to while you do your work, but then also if you have any events. So many times as a community builder, you can run an event and you're like, oh, I forgot the vibe for the playlist, and you end up putting something on Spotify and just hope that there's no swearing. So we've covered and done all the work for you so that they are just ready to go for you. It is a 100% online program, but we do have in-person sessions in Melbourne and Sydney to actually connect you with people in your local city. If you're not from there, you're welcome to travel there. And if we have more than 7 people in another location, we'll consider actually hosting something in that location as well. And then one-on-one coaching. So you can add 3 one-on-one 60-minute coaching sessions with our cohort coaches to actually dive into a specific challenge or topic that you have and actually get that really tailored feedback and advice. Here's a snapshot of the weekly topics. And so week 1 is all about that connection piece. Then week 2, we really sit down and look at your vision and your goals for yourself and your community. And then in week 3, we share our community strategy template. We've built our own framework of the things that you actually need to think about to have a strategy. And then we'll talk about community metrics with David Spinks to really give you some ideas and double down on the data. Week 4 is all about public speaking and with a facilitation mastery workshop in Melbourne. And then week 5, we have a break to actually allow you time to digest and consolidate a lot of your learning. So there's no live sessions. You're welcome to have your check-ins or do coaching or catch up with other people during this time. But it can be a quite intense program if you're leveraging everything that's on offer. So we want to give you time within it to actually consolidate and make use of everything, so that then you come back for the last 3 weeks with full energy, asking any questions that you need while we're there still for the on-demand support over the last 3 weeks. We'll have operations and productivity hacks, and then looking at engagement tactics before we then come back together and reflect on what did we even do over the past 8 weeks? Did we achieve our goals? What have we learned? What were the challenges? And what do we need to do going forward? And then we celebrate online as well as in person as well. Some of the 4 speakers announced are live on our website, so you can dive into their bios and experience. But really, we've gone out and found some of the most recommended community builders from our members. Every time we run an event, we ask our members to suggest someone that they want to learn from, and these were some of the top rated people. So we'll have David Spinks talking about metrics, Amelie Powell looking at facilitation, Michael Backo from StartMate is teaching us operations and how to be super productive, and Emmy is looking all at public speaking. In terms of when everything's happening, if you're based in the Melbourne, Sydney, Australian Eastern Standard Time, sessions, the weekly sessions kick off on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. And the bonus sessions are Wednesdays, 8:30. And then we usually host the socials Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. The one-on-one check-ins and coaching, you'll be able to book at any time during Monday to Friday that suit you as well. If you're based in other time zones, we've listed them out on our website in the FAQs. But if you're in New Zealand, it's usually Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Or if you're in San Francisco, it's Mondays at 5 p.m. When you join our program, you also get access to every single other recording of a live session that we did in cohort number 1. So we have over 10 sessions for you to browse, whether it's building communities with Cult Status with Tim Duggan, or the future of community with Ali, as well as building DEI communities with Jepta. I've mentioned the socials. I'll share the slides with you after so you can dive into the dates. And just as a quick overview, we've also locked in our 3 coaches who you can browse on our website as well. In terms of actually how to apply, so it's a 3-stage process. Stage 1 is to submit your written application, which takes approximately 5 to 8 minutes. And then if you proceed to stage 2, you'll be invited to have an interview with our team. And then we have basically outcomes sent via email at the end of that. If you're a current member of our meetup community, you don't need to have an interview, as we've already vetted you through the process, and you'll be instantly accepted. Same with any cohort alumni. In terms of the financial investment, so there are 2 different packages that you can choose from, either the live cohort, which includes basically absolutely everything that's online and the in-person events. And then there's a coaching package where you can add the 3 one-on-one coaching sessions, and you see each coach once as opposed to one coach 3 times. If money is tough, we totally understand. We have scholarships available that you're welcome to request in the last question of your application. So we really want to make this an accessible experience, but we do only have a limited amount of scholarships available as well. We had feedback from our alumni that they wanted to rejoin us. We've got 4 who are already redoing cohort number 2 to extend their access to our community and access the new speakers and coaches. And so any alumni here also welcome to journey with us again. And before I throw over to Andy to share more about his experience, I just wanted to share some of the highlights from the first program. We had the welcome drinks in Melbourne and Sydney. There were many, many online sessions and lots of group photos. There was lots of segmentation of people catching up in their local cities, as well as online as well, from people all over Africa, England, Australia, and New Zealand. There was a lot of support going on in our Slack space where people would share wins or launch new products. And we actually had someone join the community having 0 members in their new community, and then they left after 8 weeks with 30 new people and co-created about 5 sessions with their new community. One of the favorite quotes I read from someone in cohort number 1 was that they were overwhelmed by the energy and talent in the cohort. It was like they were looking for a small tool and landed in Bunnings. So I'm going to end on that note and actually introduce you to Andy. And if you have any questions about the program, or for Andy as well about his experience, please feel free to just pop them straight in the chat and we'll come to them afterwards. So now I'd love to introduce you to Andy. Andy is the Angel Network Manager at Ecotone Ventures. And we're going to have a very casual kind of Q&A style conversation to really share more about Andy's experience in the cohort. So Andy, can you just kick off and just share a little bit about your current role and the community that you manage?
Sure. Thanks, Paz. Great to be here. Great to see some smiling faces on the screen, but it's always really good. So as Paz said, Angel Network Manager of Ecotone Ventures. So we're basically a VC acting as a network of angel investors who want to invest into early stage climate tech startups. So we invest into pre-seed, seed stage startups, both Melbourne, Sydney, and Australia. So my role as the network manager is the one, obviously, invest into deals, but a big part of it also is to build that community of angel investors who are tied into that buy-in of wanting to do something good for the environment, especially through a lot of these ex-founders who have a bit of money to play with, so they want to invest into and give back into innovative products in early stage climate. I'll start that. That's my role at the moment, trying to build that community of angel investors.
Yeah, nice. Thanks for sharing. And I love what you've been doing, organizing the events in Melbourne, and then also understanding what kind of deals and industries they're interested in as well. So thanks for sharing that, Andy. And can you just kick off with explaining a little bit about why you joined the first cohort?
Yeah, 100%. So role is to build a tight-knit, engaged community of angel investors. I joined my role around at the end of last year, at a time we're still building what the Angel Network was looking at. So I guess I was thinking about what are the ways to sort of upskill my community building skills, trying to find a way I could, build an amazing community strategy to ensure that my angel investors are well engaged and have an intimate community that they really enjoy and really love and be a part of. So found the community cohort through Paz. So was part of that the free meetups. Paz told me that there was this community cohort that they were building, and I was like, oh, this is something that could be cool, being part of a cohort of amazing community builders around Australia, New Zealand, Europe. So I can learn skills to build my own personal community building skills, to build a community strategy within Ecotone Ventures, and 3, really connect with other community builders around Australia who are on different levels of their journey in building that community. So I guess that was my thought process in wanting to apply for the program. And I was really lucky enough to find this program, which was amazing.
Nice. Thanks for sharing that. And obviously, it's a quick kind of conversation to really elicit some of the things about your own experience. So in terms of actually doing the 8-week program, can you share with everyone how you found the program experience and any kind of key highlights or memories that you had?
Yeah, 100%. I guess that can be split into 2 or 3 parts. So one of them would be the amazing content. The speakers that I learned from, I think some of my favorites were Anna Maria Brioni, who taught about like big things in trying to build the community, whether it's operations, metrics, buying into co-creating with your members of your community, being able to learn that all from scratch. I had no idea about any of these topics, and being able to actually learn that was amazing. So I can bring that back to my own community I was building. Secondly, being able to interact and learn at the same time with my cohort was 10 times better than learning it as by yourself. I know if I went on Google and tried to find things myself, it would be 10 times more boring. So being able to work through these things, workshop with my fellow cohort members and tap them on the shoulder whenever I need help, either through Slack or having one-on-one check-ins with my partner and others was really amazing. And yeah, some of the great memories I made was definitely the people. I think the cohort experience can't be underestimated. Being able to make new friends who are building communities themselves and trying to, find ways which you can learn from their experiences, especially for me, like being in a VC community, which is quite unique, tapping other VC associates and community managers in the cohort was amazing, but also trying to find ways I can learn from people not in that space as well, like founders, accelerator managers, and just learn. I think that's the word of the cohort for me, was just learning and soaking up all the experience from others, and just make some good memories through the workshops, social events that Paz organizes, and just have an awesome experience through the people that you meet.
Awesome. And last question, Andy, obviously you had an experience where you were in Melbourne going through an online program, but then could access some of the in-person touch points. Like, what was it like going to the welcome drinks after you'd seen everyone online and suddenly you're kind of in person, really bringing everything, into reality?
Yeah, fantastic. Lucky enough to be based in Melbourne, to have that in-person connection is always awesome. Like having the flexibility, first of all, in this program to have online sessions is really good for me personally to juggle everything by work, but having those 1 or 2 social or optional in-person sessions, just so that you can put the name to the face and have those more in-depth conversations. And if you guys do decide to go into the cohort, I do encourage you to tap fellow cohort members on the shoulder to have those in-person one-on-one coffee catch-ups, and sort of just get to know them personally as people and understand what some of the issues and things they're going through in terms of building their community. Just really helps your experience be more enriched, and the learning that you get increases tenfold. So having that social aspect is always part of the community that is really awesome to have with, and just makes your life 10 times more happier when you're going through that cohort.
Yeah, and it's quite unique in the sense that it's a community of community builders. I felt that energy tenfold, even connecting in person. It was like, whoa, everyone's like welcoming people, or quite engaged in the sense that they understand what it's like to build and manage a community. So there's quite a lot of empathy and connection that even happens outside of the live session. So Andy, thank you so much for jumping up on the main stage and sharing your experience. Is there any final words that you have?
No, I'm just happy to take any questions. I think if you're leaning about any side of the spectrum from me, I was at the early stage trying to build my community, or you could even be already having a big community but want to re-engage with that community. I think if you're at any level of the spectrum, there's always that cohort effect where you have so many people being able to leverage ideas. If you're just building a community, don't even have a community or have a huge community, I think you'll be able to learn lots from being in the community. And Paz is always great in leading the charge and helping you out wherever you go. And I just believe it's been a fantastic experience for me. And now that I'm an alumni, I'm always happy to have a coffee with any of you as well if you wanted to chat more about the cohort.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Andy. Let's give you a round of applause for that, actually. Thank you very much. We're not going to stage just yet, because we now have about 5 minutes or so just for any Q&A. So I'd love to just open it up to anyone else here if you have a question. And if you don't have a question, that's completely fine. Just give us a thumbs up emoji and we will see if everything has been covered. Okay, so we've got a couple thumbs up. If you have a question, you can jump off mute or pop it in the chat. Okay, we've got a couple thumbs up. Okay, great. Amazing. We've got someone typing, so I'll see if anything else comes through. And Andy, just how did you find the application process when you first went through it?
Yeah, it was really easy in terms of just putting my thoughts on what I wanted to learn. And I think the one thing that was good, I forgot to mention, is setting goals for yourself to do throughout the program really helped me to engage with what I'm learning and apply that to the program. So yeah, setting goals, being able to put what you're thinking into the application process was really seamless.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Awesome. Love it. Well, Butter is throwing us into lots of different Tetris fun shapes and sizes. But we do have one question in the chat here. Do you know the date for the in-person public speaking workshop? Catherine, yes, we do. It is in the FAQs for the exact date. So let me just find it, because the Facilitation Mastery workshop happens in week 4. And let's find the exact date for you. It is on the 19th of April at 6 p.m. and we're looking at hosting it in Richmond. So I'll send you the link here for the FAQs, and it's under the question, when are the in-person socials? And you've got all the dates there as well. Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And I really appreciate everyone taking the time to actually even just learn more about our cohort. Even you being here is a testament to your interest or curiosity or dedication to yourself for improving and upskilling in this space. So just as a few reminders and closing elements, there's still 1 week left to apply for the cohort. I put the application link in the chat here. And let's put the actual application link for you. Here you go. And you should submit it by 12 p.m. Melbourne time next Tuesday, within 1 week. And you might have noticed that this session was at 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. So this would be the kind of time that we'd catch up. This is the kind of feeling in the program that it would have. We catch up in butter. So this is really the vibe. And as well, if you'd like to actually learn more about community, you can come along to another event that we're hosting on the 22nd. And so I've popped the link in that, and it's a link in the chat, and it's all about reigniting an inactive community. Oh, that was a mouthful. And we're speaking to Selva from MYOB, and really we'll be unpacking how do you manage or scale or re-engage a community that might have become dormant. So if you're noticing people are a bit quiet, or you're not sure where they are, or there's a lot of members but low engagement, we really unpack the strategies for dealing with that exact situation. And we also have a thank you gift to share with all of you. So we'll share the exact code in the post-event email, but we'd love to give you all 30% off butter if you do want to run online sessions using their platform. And Abby, are there payment plans available? At the moment, the payment is in full before the program starts, but if you have a specific need or would like to request a payment plan, I'm very happy to look at that with you and find the best solution for that. So yeah, happy to make an exception. Amazing. All right. Have a beautiful day, everyone. And I'm also here if you have any questions. And I look forward to reading your applications and welcoming you into our community of community builders. So have a beautiful day, and I'm here if you need anything.